I'm sorry, I just can't put this guy down. So good. Okay. Hello, hello. Welcome back to Outside the Box. 41, right? Series of videos where I unbox some awesome stuff. And we do have a couple of awesome ones today. We're working our way through our massive backlog of packages, but today we're gonna open up two that I actually picked up at retail, which I don't normally go retail shopping because it ends in sadness. But on two separate occasions, I happened to find these two awesome dudes and I couldn't not pick them up. But it's still a matter of waiting to actually take them out of the box until I'm able to film this. And thankfully, here we are. I am thinking Bumblebee's gonna be a little bit special for reasons. So let's start off with Vortex, shall we? This is from the Transformers Age of the Primes line, Combaticon Vortex. It's funny, spoilers. Pretty sure I have 3 aerial bots in my pile of boxes here somewhere. Superion is the one that we're probably gonna complete right after Devastator. And we're already starting another one. God, we are drowning in combiners, which I'm not complaining. But yeah. And there wasn't a lot of fanfare that I remember with the announcement of this guy. I think we first heard about him in some leaked listings, but not a whole lot for him specifically. We did get to see some of the other Combaticons recently, and they all look freaking awesome. I do believe we're still going with that skeletal system that the others have. I'm pretty sure Devastator is the only one that's not having that, right? It'll be fun to kind of like mix and match them and whatnot. What was that episode? Scramble City? That we will now be able to recreate. And that's fun. That's really fun. We got some cool little bit of artwork here for him. Nice rendition of his bot mode. Very nice shot of his helicopter. He's a very nice dark gray. I mean, it's the color of the plastic itself. I'm always thinking about the eventual repaint. I don't know if I would go with like a metallic kind of a gray. Probably would. Some very simple shots here on the back of both bot and vehicle mode. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he's an ARM, right? Yeah, I believe so. So he's gonna have that same separation gimmick that the other ARM combiners have had. All right, let's get him out of the box. Aha. Wow, he's got a hell of a visor on him, huh? Well, he comes like half transformed. Comes with his separate blades, and I guess his weapon right here. Whoa, what is this? Oh, this guy's packing heat. Wow. 3 weapons? I didn't know he came with 3 weapons. Oh, they are very soft and plastic though. Ooh, not a fan of that. They're probably gonna be challenging to paint, but he comes with 2 little ones. Pretty simple little blasters here. They are a bit hollowish, but man, this is a very, very soft plastic though. I wonder why they use this to begin with. He has a bit more of a sizable blaster as well. This is probably like his main one. Has a nice scope up here on top. Still some hollowness to it, but I like the design of it though. Not too bad. No paint whatsoever. I don't even think they're able to really get some paint on these guys. They usually don't. Well, I take it back. They can. The helicopter blades come separate, and of course it's also the same very soft plastic, but this is actually painted here silver in the middle, so it's certainly possible for them. Due to how it's packaged though, you might want to double check yours. One side is held tightly in those plastic tabs, almost like little zip ties, and because of that, it's got a slight bit of a bend on this side. I think having it in some hot water can alleviate that. It's very minimal though, so it's not bad. The bot himself, we gotta get him fully into bot mode here though. Yeah, he's like halfway transformed. Let's take a look. Okay, they don't really tell you how to get him fully into bot mode. I'm guessing they were anticipating to package him a little bit differently. The only thing it tells you, out of the box, separate the legs and attach the helicopter blades. You gotta do a little bit more than that though. Now, as you can see, he's got his arms encased in copter bits, and his legs are more than just stuck together. They're like pretty much formed in full copter mode. I guess like the toes, you just gotta bend them up. Without even checking the instructions, I'm just gonna separate the part that's covering the arms, just kind of move it back. Maybe it's a double hinge. It's gotta be, right? It's exactly a double hinge, that's all it is. Okay, so now this section moves freely behind the arm. I don't know if it's gonna clip anywhere though. No, I don't think so. Oh my God, these arms are incomplete. Let me check the other one. Okay, just right off the bat, this is something that I never noticed on any of the online photos. And man, that does not look good. Okay, there's like the bottom section of the fists that are just not there. They're not molded in. And he's pretty much missing an entire finger. 1.5 fingers are not there. And especially from like this side view here, that looks terrible. That is so bad. Wow. Is there maybe a part of the fist that folds out to complete it? No, I don't think so. Does Vortex only have 3 fingers in the cartoon? There is nothing on here for that. No, that's just how it is. Yikes. I believe those back helicopter sections are kind of supposed to be sitting right behind the fist, so it's not as noticeable, but still it's not locking in place anywhere, and it moves so far back that that's what you think would be more natural. All right, let's get these feet opened up here. Yeah, you just kind of split the nose cone section of the helicopter open for the heels and the toes. Nothing complicated there. Guess we'll add the helicopter blades. Yeah, they kind of get blocked by everything else. Okay, but they do stay in place. What? Oh my God, I'm just discovering things here. I'm sorry. Discovering it live. Huh, interesting. Okay, so just looking at Vortex from the front, he looks nice. It is not a bad looking figure. Proportions are good. Haven't checked the articulation yet. We're gonna do that in a second here. Looks like it's mostly gray and blue plastic. I like the color of gray though. It's almost like a gunmetal kind of a shade to it. And where he has paint, it really pops, it really counts. The thigh sections are all blue plastic, but on the crotch here, it's painted blue right there in the center, and it matches pretty well. It's got a bit more of a shine to it though. On the plastic itself, it's like a flat color, got a bit of a texture to it, and here on the crotch, a little bit shiny, as the bits on the chest as well. Wow, that does have a shine to it. That does not look bad at all. Look at that. Good stuff. And a very shiny black right here on the shin area. I'm really liking that. That is really nice. 100%, I think I'm gonna do a gloss black for that myself. Quite a lot of paint on the face. He's kind of featureless as far as a face goes, but that's because G1 combiners were kind of tiny dudes, and I think usually it was the heads that would pop into like the main body. I don't know if that's the case for Bruticus, which I think it might be. It's kind of a blocky head, and so they didn't bother putting like a face on it, right? It's just like a visor and a mouth plate. A lot of them have that, sadly, but the design is fantastic. The huge visor with that nice shade of red and the silver for the mouth plate makes it stand out a little bit. Your eyes very easily go right to that visor. He doesn't look evil though, huh? Almost makes him look like a younger bot due to the bigger visor. I don't know. That just needs spitballing here. Now the Decepticon symbol on his shoulder though, it's just a little bit hidden. The purple kind of blends into the darker gray here on the side. I don't know if on the cartoon it has the white border. It probably doesn't. And I don't know if I would do that myself, but I think once we do a repaint and we apply one of those dry transfer symbols, I think maybe it'll just pop a little bit better because it'll have that little bit of extra gloss to it as well. The dude looks great. The dude looks really good. I'm not exactly sure what these sections attached to the shoulders are. They look kind of like some fatty missiles. I have no idea. But I like the design aspect on there though. That's good, just to make it a little bit different. But yeah, man, those bits popping off of the arms and the back. So he's got kibble. That's perfectly fine. On a figure like this, you're gonna expect that. But what's really surprising me though is just the missing back half of the fist here. That is just really surprising though. I wouldn't have expected an articulated wrist or anything like that, but at least a completed fist. And I have to guess it's because it's gotta fit into this helicopter section here. It's gonna be overly tight, so maybe they didn't have enough room for it. I'm gonna wonder if there's gonna be any kind of an aftermarket part filler section available, or a whole replacement hand, wrist, arm section maybe? I don't know. I would like to get a completed fist on there though, if possible. One of the things that surprised me on the back of the head is I'm guessing he has landing gear that just kind of plops out of his head. Yeah, that's a full-on tire just sticking out there. That's certainly a look. Certainly a look, okay. I don't know if I would keep it in the blue plastic myself though. I would definitely paint the tire itself a more tire kind of a color. Huh, interesting, okay. Would that make a repaint more challenging? I don't think so. It's not a metal pin connection. I should be able to just pop that out. It's gonna be the softer plastic though, no doubt there. Overall, I like the look of this figure. I like the color combination, the dark gray with this bit of a lighter kind of a blue and some nice glossy black. Good combo overall. Again, the proportions look great on this dude. The only glaring omission is half of a fist. But this isn't the kind of figure that gets the budget of an SS86 Megatron, right? So there are gonna be some shortcomings though. I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic Bruticus when we get there. I guess we'll take a look at the articulation. As you would expect, full rotation on the head. It's a ball joint, so you get some side to side, you get some up and down. Pretty good up and down, actually. Yeah, it's decent. Yeah, that is decent. Full 90 on the shoulders. You're gonna have to move the blades out of the way, and then they can do a full rotation. Watch out for the back kibble too, though. As far as the shoulder band, that's a 90. There's also articulation for these shoulder bits. It probably comes into effect for the transformation. He does have a nice waist rotation, a little bit snug, but I think I prefer that over looseness. The legs can go out 90. If we move the arm here, they go back 90 as well. And the knees, I would say that's less than 90. Less than 90. You get quite a bit of hollowness here on the inside of the knee section. We've seen this before though. I think it's going to have a bit of a similar transformation with previous combiners. And so the knees are going to fold in for the transformation, and you need to have that room open right here on the inside. Sadly, we do also get thigh rotation and an ankle tilt for stability. That's good stuff. And of course, because of the transformation, the toes, they can fold down. I don't think you would ever really probably use that much for posing, as well as for the heel. That's not really going to come into effect, I don't think. Basic stuff, nothing for the wrists, sadly. We can plop his gun on him, one of them anyways. I think if possible, I would have preferred that they be cast in the same gray plastic as the body, instead of like that off black, almost rubbery kind of plastic. That's interesting. He does have plenty of peg holes. Well, I wouldn't say plenty. He's got some peg holes here on the forearms. He also has some here on the shins too. I think these are going to be used for combiner mode, if I'm not mistaken. You're not going to attach the guns there anyways. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I'm going to put them here on the arms, the extra smaller guns. Let's separate the helicopter blades again. And there he is with all three of his weapons attached. It's a nice look. I wonder if that's what he looked like in the G1 cartoon, or maybe even in the original G1 toy. I'm not too familiar with this guy, but that looks really good though. I like that. Now, there's some peg holes, rectangular in shape here on the chest, 4 in total. I'm guessing that's also going to be used for the combiner mode, but it looks like there was some kind of a design added to the chest that we end up losing because of those peg holes. So that's a bit of a downer there. I don't know if they were like exhaust ports or anything like that. It almost looks like something that a Cassetticon would end up having. Yeah, it looks like the design of a cassette itself. Very cool looking dude. Let's check him out in copter mode. Oh, dude, what a nice transformation. That was very pleasant. Some very satisfying snaps popping into places and fooping in others. God, that was really good. And the copter mode that you get, I don't know anything about copters, but this is a helicopter and it looks damn good. It retains, obviously, that nice dark gray plastic, and some of the blues still pop on this little stripe that it has up along the top. Doesn't continue to the back though. I don't know if it's supposed to. I'd have to check the G1 cartoon or even the original toy to see if it does. It looks fine like that though, but man, that is so good. And I just love the glossy black for the windows and the nice silver picked out on the edges of the windows here on the sides. Oh, that's excellent. That is so excellent. Now, I guess the only bit of bot part that you see is the head, but thankfully there's an enclosure that goes over the face to hide the most blatant parts of robot mode. And then the wheel that flips out the back is now sitting nicely here in the bottom. There's no other wheels that pop out though. There's some that are just molded into the fronts here, which is fine because that's not a rolling wheel that comes out of the back head anyways. That's just to keep it nice and level when you're putting it like on a table. Perfectly fine, perfectly fine. Now, I have a question about the instructions. There is this wing section here that's normally folded vertical in robot mode, and you're supposed to flip it then horizontal, but the instructions have you flip it the other way, and so the wings are then at a bit of an angle in copter mode. Let me show you. Based on the instructions, you're supposed to flip it like that. And that to me looks so incorrect. Again, I don't know anything about helicopters or aviation, I've never seen wings like that though at an angle. And then there's that extra bit of plastic that's just kind of like in the way up here. So I flipped it around the other way and it blends in more with this bottom section. The wings are now horizontal here. That's the correct way, I'm assuming, right? Somebody in the comments, please let me know. Even if it's technically not the correct way, I'm gonna leave it like that. I mean, it looks good to me, so you can do whatever you want. The tiny little propeller in the back, it hardly even has any kind of a spin because it's so small. And the split peg that's there in the middle, that's always kind of unsightly to me. I don't like how that looks. Minor thing though, the main propeller, give it a good swing here. It's perfect, so good. Spins like a charm, I love that. Yeah, this is very nice. I can almost forgive it for missing half of the fists though. That's still, I don't know about that. I'm actually not sure where he splits though. For combiner mode, I thought he was gonna split in this section here, based off of the instructions. I mean, they don't tell you how, but they give you a picture of how it's gonna look in Bruticus mode. I'm not so sure. It's not exactly clear in this guy. I mean, it's not very important now. We're gonna find out sooner or later, and we can split it ourselves. He's got that little section where you can actually insert like a flathead screw and force the separation. I'm not gonna do it now though. Not like it's gonna hurt it or anything, but I can wait. This is just a really good figure all around though. Fantastic start to Bruticus. So looking forward to it. The one thing that I'm curious how they're gonna do though, so far on these combiners, they've all had the skeletal system except for Devastator, but the legs, they'll have the robot on the back of the skeletal system. We saw that for Menasor, we saw that for Superion. Is that going to be the same thing for Bruticus? Because he very much has that one tank right in the front for the leg. You can very much see that, right? Do we know how he's going to do that? I don't think we do. It'll be interesting to check out. We can, of course, attach all of the weapons into copter mode. I guess now you will be able to utilize those peg holes that are on the bottom of the shins there. Since there's two of them, I'm going to attach the two smaller weapons. And he's got peg holes right here in the sides. We'll use one of those for the larger weapon. This is, I think, a military helicopter, right? I believe they're all like military. Well, except for that shuttle. That's not a military shuttle or anything like that. I mean, I guess now it's Space Force. Anywho, here we have the weapon nicely pegged on the side and the two on the bottom. And for this, it actually looks perfect. It looks like something you would actually see a military helicopter have. Good stuff. Very good stuff there. I like it. Oh, speaking of Bruticus, we even see somewhat complete look of him here, and there is that tank right there in the front. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that. Oh, and also the other side. Who's a Combaticon on the other side? He's a military jeep kind of a vehicle, right? Swindle. How can I forget Swindle? You can barely make him out there on the other side as well. It looks like he's on the front of the skeletal system too. Maybe this one's just going to be different? There wouldn't be anything wrong with him having them on the front and then even being able to mix and match. Like if we put a Stunticon on there, now it's going to go on the front of this guy, right? That's probably what's going to happen. Okay, this has been a success, but I'm really looking forward to opening up this little guy. So here we have Studio Series number 116, Bumblebee from the Bumblebee movie. I think this is one of the last ones that had the number for the Studio Series line. And it's of course the revision to Bumblebee, which I was a little bit surprised that we even got. Hasbro doesn't usually do that, but I'm so glad they did. Is it better? I mean, I hope so. If they took the time to give us a new mold for him, let's find out though. Enough speculation here. It's kind of hunched over though, huh? He looks so uncomfortable in there. Hey, look, a backdrop. I'm actually gonna check this out. Oh, this is nice. We get the inside of the garage of Charlie's garage. Is this even the correct vehicle that was in there too? I don't think so, was it? I don't think this is really all that accurate to how it looked in the movie, but I mean, it's totally fine. It's a generic garage, I guess. Maybe they couldn't get the rights to it. I don't know. All right, buddy, let's get you out of here. You know, when I first initially saw this guy, I wasn't sure if I was gonna pick him up. I mean, I already have Bumblebee from the Bumblebee movie, fully painted, fully customized. But then, seeing that it was a brand new mold, it was a given that I was gonna get him. No question about that. Yeah, I can already see many improvements here. This guy looks just gorgeous. Ah, he's so good. He's so good. I would say that the #1 improvement compared to the first Bumblebee is just the overall proportions of the figure. Sometimes the designs of these figures for the movies can change so often, so last minute, and it takes so much time to get these toys ready that there's going to be some glaring differences. The first Bumblebee movie figure looked nice, but some of the proportions were just a little bit off. Whereas now that movie's been out, gosh, how many years has it been now? They're able to now really go back and nail in the look of the character. But due to, I guess, the complexity of the transformation in the movie, which in the movie they do a lot of cheating. A lot of the Volkswagen Beetle parts just kind of fold into nothing. And so you're going to be left with a lot of kibble parts here, but I think they do a decent job of hiding it. You get his nice wings made out of the doors, and there's the back section of the doors that just kind of fold behind it. That is good. And a lot of the hood and the top of the vehicle collapses onto the back. We see that a ton of time with Transformers. It's a tradition for them to do that. Probably the only part that's maybe not as fantastic is now on the back of the feet. You do just have the entirety of the rear of the vehicle back here. I don't remember exactly how they did it in the first figure. I think it was behind the leg. Now on my copy, I did a ton of modifications to get them as close to bot mode as possible, and so I ended up losing the transformation, which I don't really care for all that much. In fact, let's take a look here, and you'll have to forgive me, he's a little bit delicate. But this is my very first custom Transformer, so he's automatically got a special place in my heart. You look at the back, there is really virtually no kibble. I modified the doors, glued them in place along with the wheels to how it looks in the movie. The only thing I really couldn't remove are the wheels down here. I didn't want to risk damaging the figure itself, and they're not really too much in the way. I think it looks nice like that, so I kept that look. But this entire dude has been repainted, lovingly weathered. But yeah, he is never ever gonna transform. I did for quite a while keep all of the Volkswagen Beetle sections, and it's kind of ironic. You can almost entirely build the vehicle out of those parts. They're all just really just hanging out in the back. Again, it's what they were able to do at that time, but I wanted to get him looking in bot mode as closely as possible to how he looked in the movie, and I think I achieved it for the most part. For the new one, however, you know, it's not bad. It is not bad at all. We're going to take a look at the transformation, but I could see myself keeping all of the kibble to keep the transformation into the Volkswagen Beetle mode. Maybe even, sometimes I'll do the extreme thing of removing kibble, but still allowing me to keep the transformation. Like with Siege Megatron, all of those tank treads that became his backpack, I took that off permanently, and yet I can still transform him, right? It's more of a part former now, which I'm totally for. I don't mind doing that at all, especially if it'll give us a much cleaner bot mode. But this little dude, the way he is right now, God, he looks so good, man. He looks so good. Let's do a little side-by-side here. I have had the doors that are glued on the back and the wheels kind of pop out on me, but here you have both Bumblebees. Obviously, it's not a direct comparison to how this guy would look out of the box. He does have the superior paint job, although, because he was my very first custom, I know maybe some things I would do differently now. I didn't do any spray painting on this guy. Everything was brushed on, and I think I used a flat yellow as opposed to a gloss. The reason for that is because Bumblebee is not in the best condition in the movie, but yet I think I would still start off with a gloss yellow and then weather up from there, because there is still a little bit of shine to parts of the body too. And I would be a little bit more careful of how I would apply the weathering and some of the rusting as well too. I did also build our Trumpeter Bumblebee model kit not too long ago, and I think I did a little bit of a better weathering job with that one as well. In fact, why don't I grab them? And so here we have our little Trumpeter Bumblebee, again, fully painted, fully weathered. Definitely a much closer rendition of what Bumblebee looks like in the movie. This guy doesn't transform. It's just very accurately recreated from what we saw in the film. This is the good stuff right here. Now, comparing the new Studio Series with the Trumpeter kit, I think you can see how it gets quite a bit closer to how he looked. Maybe it's the size of the arms. He does have some pretty big arms. They're going right down to his knees. And the size and shape of the head better matches. I can already kind of see this guy fully painted myself, and I think I would definitely try and keep that transformation this time around. Awesome stuff. Yeah, very awesome stuff there. Pretty much the same accessories as he did last time. The blade you can attach to any of the forearms and recreate that look from the movie. Some nice silver paint right there. And the Gatling weapon, it looks like it's molded to only go over the right arm. So that's the only option for that, but looks great. Not too shabby there. Very cool stuff. Okay. Oh man, I'm just noticing he still has what has got to be the tiniest Autobot symbol right there on his forehead. Oh man, that is intricate. I definitely don't have a sticker or a transfer or a decal that small. One of the things I ended up having to do with the original Studio Series figure is when I was stripping the paint, I was very careful to not strip that section of the head to retain that Autobot symbol. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I just hand painted the whole thing. Obviously, wasn't going to be able to spray paint over that as well. It's a lot brighter on this guy though. You can see the red of the Autobot symbol much better on the original one than you can on this guy. Probably due to the size. I guess because it's that much smaller. Yeah, it hardly looks red at all. Not terrible though. One of the things that I guess can be a little bit of concern for this guy, does the other one have it? Yeah, but not as much. He's got quite a bit of ball joints. Ball joints on the shoulders, ball joints on the elbows, ball joints on the hips, probably a ball joint on the head too, right? Yes, ball joint on the head. The head's fine. I don't know why it worries me on the arms and body though. I kind of feel like it can wear down easily. If that does happen, we can always fix that. No major issues there. But I just do love the crispiness of the details, the intricately molded robot-y bits all over. They captured it so well on this guy. Very good stuff. Oh, I'm just noticing now that the rear wheels are now on the bottom of the feet. That's actually very fitting for Bumblebee. A lot of the G1 versions did that. So I don't mind that one bit. Although the sides of the feet now, you can kind of see the wheels just kind of hanging out there. And so you don't get the silver parts of the soles. So it is a little bit of a hindrance there. Also, we get quite a little bit of hollowness here on the lower leg section. This is all really supposed to be complete, filled in, which I'm sure I can do so with some putty, but it's very noticeable at this point though. Definitely much more hollowy than the previous version. But that's how these figures are nowadays. All right, but let's go ahead and check them out in Volkswagen Beetle mode. And here we have Studio Series 116 Bumblebee in his vehicle mode. And that was a devastating transformation. Very similar to the original Bumblebee movie, Bumblebee. A lot of the panels, a lot of the tiny pegs in vehicle just don't want to click into place. Especially with the first one, I always had a hard time getting a clean looking vehicle mode out of that one. This one's very similar, whereas some pegs here on the back feet don't want to perfectly line up with the roof section, but it's due to the ball joint where the feet are connected. It has to be at a certain angle to then line up to them. Once you have that figured out, which the instructions don't really specify that unfortunately, everything else thankfully lines up into place and you get a very good looking vehicle mode out of him. Definitely better than the first version. Very similar. Obviously, they're both the same vehicle, but things are lining up a little bit better. Now, I obviously haven't seen the first version in vehicle mode in many years. I don't remember how much of the bot showed from the bottom, but in this guy, they definitely do show up. You have here on the bottom the arms kind of hanging low, pretty visible there. And on the front, there's some definite robot-y sections right here on the bottom front section. But you know what? You can, again, only do so much to get a really good looking bot mode that we see in the movie into this excellent vehicle mode here. So there's going to be some shortcomings, and I think I'm okay with this. That is not bad at all. And I'm also very glad that on the bottom you do see the head sticking at the bottom, because we know that's canon, right? I'm glad they were able to recreate that for the vehicle, although how could they not, right? What Transformer doesn't have the head sticking at the bottom in vehicle mode? You can probably turn it around, but no, that's how it is. That's how it's supposed to be. Very excellent stuff, but I guess the original Bumblebee is gonna get replaced. When I do the eventual repaint for this guy, I'm certainly not going to cut off all the robot kibble to give us a cleaner bot mode in this version. It definitely helped on the original. It was much more drastic, but here they did such a good job of improving on Bumblebee. That bot mode looks really good, and so I think we're gonna keep the transformation on this guy. But yeah, he's replacing my very first customization, which maybe best not to think about. I don't know if I'm gonna be selling him. I don't think I am. You can't sell your first custom, right? No, that's blasphemy. He's gonna go in a shoebox somewhere. I'll very lovingly place him in a shoebox, but he'll always be here though, so all right. I'm so glad that they took the time to give us an updated Bumblebee. They put effort into this guy. It's noticeable. Even though it has a lot of the similar shortcomings of the original one, the extra work put into here is very much appreciated. And yeah, I can't wait to give him an eventual repaint. All right, but that's gonna do it for us here today. You can look forward to another unboxing video coming out soon, and then another unboxing video after that, and then probably another unboxing video after that, until eventually, I do hope to start on Dead End. So please look forward to that. I know I am. I thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed me unboxing these figures as much as I enjoyed it. You can always keep up with me on all the social medias. Links are always down below. And you can support the channel by becoming a member, having access to some awesome emotes, or head over to patreon.com/hobbieswithjose and choosing the tier that's right for you. I've got plenty of behind the scenes pictures and videos of my latest projects, and maybe you can tell me what to work on next too. But as always, I will see you all real soon. Take care of yourselves and keep on customizing. Is that a good catchphrase? I don't know. We'll try it. Bye!